Hello, and thanks for joining us.
On the programme this evening.
Standing by her son's grave instead of celebrating his 21st birthday, it's time to break the wall of silence over the murder of Ellis Cox.
They don't know what they've taken from us. They don't know the importance of Ellis to us. They've taken a precious, precious, precious child from me.
The hospital's CEO who won £1 million compensation after accusing her boss of bullying at the trust which employed killer nurse Lucy Letby.
It's a huge weekend in the world of sport. We'll hear from new Manchester United boss Michael Carrick ahead of tomorrow's derby with City. Arna Slot provides an update on Mo Salah's Liverpool return, and we are live as the newly formed Salford Rugby League club kick off the new season.
Coming up a bit later in the programme, I will be backstage on one of the biggest productions to ever come to the Northwest, and you will never guess what it is.
So first, he was an innocent teenager on his way home when he was shot and killed. But even though Ellis Cox was murdered 18 months ago, a wall of silence has protected the person who pulled the trigger.
This Sunday, Ellis from Bootle in Merseyside would have been 21. His mum Carolyn invited me to join her for a day, just to witness firsthand what every day has been like since her son was taken away from her.
So tonight, Carolyn's appealing for someone to make the difference and give the police the breakthrough they need.
She also told me more about the funny and popular boy the killer took away from her.
He was a very big baby, very happy. Every single photo that I looked through constantly, he was always smiling. He was a joy. He was just a joy from the second he was born.
His grave adorned in his favourite colour. It's been 18 months since Ellis Cox was murdered. Gunned down on an industrial estate in Aintree as he made his way home. This Sunday would have been Ellis's 21st birthday.
One time a teacher said to me, I love how confident Ellis is. She said, but when Ellis is talking, the kids are listening to him and not me, because he'd have a story. I always had a story to tell what he did at the weekend. He was just adored through every year of school, teenage years. All his friends say he was the funniest person, but he just didn't know how funny he was. And all his friends now, they've got videos, and he would just constantly make them laugh. And he was witty, but he's the biggest heart. He was just...
Footage released for the first time. Ellis Cox with nieces Eliza and Dolly, and his dog Lola 3 months before his murder. A devoted uncle, he cherished holidays with mum in Cyprus and was part of the close-knit family. Police say investigations into his murder near Liverpool's Loop Line are ongoing, but despite several arrests and the offer for £20,000 reward for information, no charges have been made.
Taking place in this investigation, you get to sort of know the family. And I wouldn't say I know them particularly well as the senior investigating officer. We have the family liaison officers who work very closely with the family, who report back to me and tell me the type of family that they are, how close they were to Ellis, how supportive they are of the police and the investigation, how sort of linked into the local community that they are. So it's really sort of difficult for this type of thing to happen to an individual like that.
They don't know what they've taken from us. They don't know the importance of Ellis to us. They've taken a precious, precious, precious child from me, from all of us. So why should they get to live a life? I don't have my baby. He's my baby. I don't have my baby in my house. I don't I go in his room every day. I feed his fish every day. My house is empty. So why should they get to live and see their mum when they took my baby from me? So I will not stop. My family will not stop, because they need to be punished. They need to be behind bars because they've taken my child.
The passage of time hasn't softened the pain and grief felt by Ellis's family. Carolyn says he'd planned to travel to Australia and Thailand after reaching his 21st milestone. Carefree times her son will never see. Yeah, tough all day filming with Carolyn, but nothing like as tough as it is for her as she approaches Ellis's 21st birthday.
Yeah, and we often say this, don't we? But giving information about crimes like this isn't grassing, it's about making the world a safer place. So if you have any information about who killed Ellis Cox, please share it. Just imagine if it was your family going through what his family are. You
can always call the police themselves, but you can also give that information completely anonymously by calling Crime Stoppers. Just pick up a phone and dial 0800 555 111. It is the right thing to do. Well, next tonight, and a man's beginning a 28-year prison sentence for killing his estranged wife in the shop in Merseyside where she worked.
47-year-old Namila Raja Mathia Paranam repeatedly stabbed his wife, Nalani. The lead detective described it as one of the worst cases of domestic violence he'd come across.
Their daughter told Liverpool Crown Court that her world had stopped that day and she felt betrayed by her father.
Well, our correspondent Rob Smith was at the hearing and joins us now. Rob, a really distressing case, this one.
Yeah, distressing and then some. This was a murder that was committed over the lack of an invite to a family event. Just take that in for a minute. The lack of an invite. In this courtroom today, Namila Raja Mathia Pranam didn't flinch, didn't show any remorse as he was jailed. The 47-year-old from Witness had a history of violence and a restraining order against him to keep him away from his wife. But in June last year, when he found out he'd not been invited to a coming-of-age celebration for one of the couple's children, he decided to kill his wife. He donned a disguise, went and bought a collection of kitchen knives, picked out the longest one, and then went to the shop that the couple had in Bootle. Inside, he stabbed his wife, Nalani, 18 times, and he did it with such force that part of the blade broke off inside her body. The entire thing was captured on CCTV, and that footage was being fed to the flat upstairs. Up there were the couple's 3 children, the eldest, 17 years old. She saw what happened, came rushing downstairs to find her mum dying in front of her. Mathia Paranam then tried to take his own life, swallowing poison in the shop there and then. He survived, though, and for the police who made sure he was brought to justice, the crime, the effect it's had on an entire family, just beg a belief.
So this case has been one of the most harrowing incidents of domestic violence and abuse that I've investigated and been involved in.
How on earth are his children amid all of this?
Given the circumstances, as you'd expect, the children are clearly affected by this. Displaced from their home, orphaned for want of a better phrase, but they are doing remarkably well.
The eldest of those children told the judge here today that she'd been, quote, betrayed by her dad. In a statement, she said that he had taken away from her the person who meant everything, who was everything to her, her best friend, her mum. And she relayed her mum's haunting words from the day before the killing when she said, quote, whatever he does, he's still your dad. The judge jailed Mathia Paranam for life with a minimum term of 28 years. He told him that his crime had been premeditated and, quote, exceptionally cruel and brutal.
Rob, many thanks indeed.
2 charities have been reprimanded over safeguarding failures linked to alleged sexual misconduct by the then Bishop of Liverpool. The Charities Commission said the 2 organisations failed to properly handle allegations made against the Most Reverend John Parambalath, who resigned in January 2025 following the allegations, which he denies. The Liverpool Diocese Finance Board apologised.
Well, next tonight, and a former NHS boss who sued the Countess of Chester Hospital for unfair dismissal has won more than £1 million in compensation.
Dr Susan Gilby took over the trust just weeks after the child killer Lucy Letby was arrested in 2018.
An employment tribunal ruled last February that Dr Gilby had been unfairly forced out of her job after raising concerns about bullying by the trust's then chairman.
Well, the mutually agreed payout is one of the biggest the NHS has ever made to a former employee, as Anna Yosef reports.
Susan Gilby dedicated more than 30 years to the NHS, first as a doctor and then as a chief executive. But that career is now over. She was unfairly dismissed by the NHS and has been awarded £1.4 million in damages.
I don't feel in any way triumphant. I feel sad. I feel sad for the loss of my career from a selfish point of view. I feel sad that we've had to go through such a long and protracted battle to have the truth told and recognised. And I feel very sad for the hard-working clinicians and other colleagues that I've left behind.
Dr Gilby took over at the Countess of Chester NHS Trust, where convicted killer Lucy Letby worked, weeks after Letby's arrest in 2018, and led the trust through the pandemic. But after raising bullying and harassment complaints against the then chairman, a director told her it was time to go. She was offered a payoff and a job elsewhere if she dropped her grievance.
I felt that having taken my issue to the right people, that I would have been listened to and some action would have been taken, and actually some improvements made that hopefully we could then move on. But instead I was met with aggression and a campaign against me, and followed by a bribe. It was about my integrity, and there was nothing more important than to make sure that the truth was told.
When Dr Gilby refused the deal in December 2022, she was suspended. She sued the trust an employment tribunal found had built a sham case against her. The trust will also have to pay legal fees after refusing offers to avoid the case going to court. The final cost to the taxpayer is likely to be at least £3 million. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely sickened, because I know how much it costs to run a ward for a year. We did everything we possibly could to get them to see reason. Once we had seen the documents that proved to us that they could not defend this case, they still continued to do so. And that begs questions for me about the current leadership in the NHS and in the trust, and I can't understand why they would choose to do that.
Dr Gilby says this wasn't the way she wanted her career in the NHS to end, but she hopes her case will help others have the courage to come forward about workplace bullying. Anna Yosef, ITV News.
Time now for a look at what's to come on the ITV National News. Up next, here's Charlene.
Coming up on the programme, the West Midlands police chief is to retire over his handling of the decision to ban Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from a match against Aston Villa last year. Kemi Badenoch says Nigel Farage has done her spring cleaning for her following Robert Jenrick's defection to Reform UK. And we meet the Auchinleck Talbot player gearing up to face Celtic in the Scottish Cup this weekend. So join us for those stories and more from 6:30.
Well, let's stay with sport and we can hear from the new boss at Manchester United. Hi, Mike.
Yeah, hi guys. The third boss in less than a fortnight. This one should stick around though until the end of the season. Michael Carrick says he wants to secure European football after being made United's caretaker manager this week. And what a first game in charge, a Manchester derby at Old Trafford tomorrow. And it looks like City will soon be welcoming a new face too. Crystal Palace and England defender Mark Gahey is poised to join the Blues, as David Chisnell reports.
Michael Carrick back in management and back with a Manchester derby. After 12 years as a United player, the former midfielder has been prepping the players for his first game since being named head coach until the end of the season.
It's fantastic to be here, played different roles for this club and learned to fall in love with the club for so long, and it's a massive part of my life and has been for so long. And there's one side of it is nice to be here, but the other side of it is focus, concentration and a real drive to improve the team and improve results.
Sir Jim Ratcliffe met with fellow co-owners, the Glazers, at United's training ground yesterday, and Carrick is their latest man in charge after the sacking of Ruben Amorim. In a post-match rant that ultimately led to his departure, Amorim referenced the criticism from former United players turned pundits, but Carrick says he won't be paying attention to what they have to say.
Plenty of opinions around, and Some are positive, some are not so much. But I think in some ways, for me, in terms of you saying about putting pressure, for me it's totally irrelevant in terms of me and how I go to work and what I focus on. We want to be near the top of the league, we want to be top of the league. I mean, that's pretty obvious to say, but we got to take some small steps towards that, and European football obviously would be a step forward, and we got to keep pushing.
Well, a win at Old Trafford tomorrow lunchtime against neighbours City would move United into the top 4. While the Blues boss Pep Guardiola admires Carrick as a player, he doesn't know what to expect from him as a coach.
Michael as a player was extraordinary. You can have some idea what Middlesbrough has done or when Michael was in his first part as a manager in Man United, but tactics is about the players, and the players that you have United tomorrow is to play different was in Middlesbrough. So make analogy to say what are you going to do. I don't know.
Following Antoine Semenyo from Bournemouth. The winger has scored 2 goals in his first 2 starts for City, but Pep isn't getting carried away.
Of course, I want to score as much goals as possible, play the good, but he came for 4, 5, 6 years, and I will be judged after these 4, 5, 6 years, not for the 2 games.
So new faces for this old rivalry and the 198th Manchester derby. David Chisnell, ITV News, Manchester.
Next, and Liverpool manager Arne Slot says he'll be happy to see Mo Salah return to Anfield next week. Salah's been at the Africa Cup of Nations with Egypt since mid-December. It followed a very high-profile fallout with Slot over his lack of game time, which saw him dropped from the Liverpool team. He's got one more game with Egypt tomorrow before flying back to Liverpool.
Mo has been so important for this club, for me. So I'm happy that that he's back, because it's... even if I had 15 attackers, I still would have been happy if he would have come back. But that's not our current situation. So happy to have him back after an important game that he still has to play.
To the Women's FA Cup, and Everton are the first team through to the 5th round. They breezed past West Brom 5-0, with Yuka Momiki scoring twice. Manchester City, United, Burnley and Liverpool all play this weekend. To darts, and a shock defeat for world champion Luke Littler. He's been knocked out of the Bahrain Masters, beaten by Gerwyn Price in the quarter-finals. Warrington's world number 1 losing by 6 legs to 2. The defending champion, Liverpool's Stephen Bunting, is also out. He lost 6-4 to Michael van Gerwen, but Stockport's Nathan Aspinall did win. He beat Luke Humphries 6 sets to 3.
Getting that winning feeling. FOW, sponsor of the Granada Sport Report.
Next, to the dawn of a new era in rugby league. Just weeks after Salford Red Devils went out of business, tonight sees the newly formed Salford Rugby League Club play their first ever game. Chris Hall is live for us at the Corpac Stadium. A special night, Chris.
Yeah, it feels like the start of a special season for both clubs. For Oldham, it's the continuation of that build towards one day becoming a Super League club. For Salford, of course, it's the revival of their club that they almost lost after 152 years of history. And with me now is the Chief Executive of Salford, Ryan Briley. Ryan, after everything that you've been through with this club over the last year or so, what emotions are you going through?
Yeah, look, it'll be a pretty special night. I think there's been a lot of hard work that's gone into the night. 3 weeks of a pretty chaotic carnage mess, to be honest. But managed to get here, managed to get a bit of a team together, and I think it's fitting that we're playing Oldham. I think a really traditional side who have been growing for a number of years now, and certainly deserve the place at the top. So I think for us it's probably a celebration. Probably not focusing much what's happened on the field, but especially off the field, be a celebration of how much we've saved.
Well, considering everything that you went through last year as well, did you ever feel like there wouldn't be rugby league in Salford this year?
Yeah, certainly. And I only joined the party late, so there's been a lot of hard work done before I kind of got here. But across the fan base, my family, we're certainly worried about that. And there were some dark days last year. Some that I was involved in, some that I wasn't. But ultimately trying to look forward and trying to ignore what's kind of happened and give the celebration to the fans, really.
Exactly. Hopefully it's a big celebration for you. Let's bring in Oldham now and the Director of Rugby, Mike Ford. Mike, rivals, of course, in Greater Manchester, but did you feel a lot of sympathy for what Salford went through last year?
Oh, yeah, of course we do. Rugby League's renowned for being a family, and we at Oldham offered support to Salford along the way. We actually, as you well know, signed Ryan, and he was supposed to be part of our team this year. So we're disappointed to lose him, but we understand, his connection with this great club. So he went with our blessing, and he's on the other side of the fence tonight. So it's been brilliant that they've got to the start line. I don't know if they've done it in 3 weeks. We've had something like 12 weeks preparation.
Well, let me ask you about you, because in the last couple of years you've won League One, you finished top 4 in the Championship. Is this the year you get into Super League, do you think?
Yeah, we want to always improve. We always want to improve. I won't make any, rash predictions, but it's been a little bit fragmented, with Sean Long going and stuff. So, look, we're at the start line. And we're going to give it our best shot this year.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much. Enjoy the game, fellas. We're expecting a crowd of around 4,000 to 5,000 people here, which is huge for this level of rugby league. Such is the excitement around here. This place is going to be rocking.
Thanks very much, Chris. Big night for Salford. Great to see them back. Great to see rugby league back too. That's your sport, guys.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Mike. Well, next to the massive musical showing right now in the Northwest, featuring medical advice that will be very much frowned upon today.
Yeah, we are, of course, talking about a spoonful of sugar making the medicine go down. And the musical, yeah, you guessed it, it's Mary Poppins.
Well, it's on at Liverpool's Empire Theatre until the end of the month and stars the Manchester-born former news seeker Lynn Paul as the Bird Woman.
Our correspondent Victoria Grimes went behind the scenes.
Company manager, and you've been with this show the whole tour. It is pretty spectacular, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's very rare you actually get a full West End show on tour, and we had everything they had in London. All the special effects. Upstage, we've got this massive house. This is the Banks house.
A house that's coming towards us as we
Coming
speak.
towards us, and it's like a big storybook. So it opens up, and all the amazing detail inside, so you get straight inside the Banks' world. Pop upstairs.
How long does it take to get this set up and installed?
It takes over 3 days to build it, with 100 crew working 24 hours a day.
How do you get a lampshade to come out of here, Neil?
Disney magic.
No, tell me, come on, don't leave me hanging. Stephanie, you're playing Mary Poppins. And this is going to be the end of the show, though, isn't it? It's
This
finishing
is
here.
our final city. We've been touring for 17 months. There is certainly so much magic in the show, magic that will really blow your mind. We're wowing the children, but we're wowing the adults as well.
You actually fly out across the audience. How on earth do you do that?
Just pure Mary Poppins magic.
Lynn Paul, you are playing the Bird Woman.
I sing Feed the Birds with the 2 children. I'm only on for 6 minutes. What more could you want?
You've had such a varied career. Mrs. Johnson, the original Mrs. Johnson in Blood Brothers, such an important place to everyone here in Liverpool. What's it like to be back here for this show?
It's a joy, because Liverpool has actually become like a second home to me, because the Liverpudlians have just accepted me as one of their own. They never pick me up on the fact that I haven't got a Liverpudlian accent when I did Mrs. J. And when I go, out of the stage door, they still say Mrs. J.
Do they? At the
Oh,
stage
yeah.
door? What does she mean to you?
Oh, God, it meant everything to me, because I'd never acted before. Spoke to my mum. My mum said, write to Bill Kenwright, he's a very nice man. I said, you've never met him. And she said, I've seen him on Coronation Street, he's very nice. So I wrote to him, I got a letter by return post, and 3 weeks later I was standing on the stage at the Phoenix in the West End waiting to rehearse, and I was bricking it. I cannot tell you, I just thought, what have I done? But he changed my life. Bill Kenwright changed my life.
You had this amazing career as a pop star in the 70s with the News Seekers, that infamous song, I'd Like to Teach the World to Sing. Coca-Cola used that, didn't they, as their advert? How did all that happen?
We were just approached because we were clean cut, supposedly.
Were you clean cut?
Anyway, we'll crack on.
Moving on, swiftly on.
And we were approached and we did the commercial, and it was such a success. It was a dream come true from, as I say, from a girl from Manchester. It was fantastic.
So you were living this pop star lifestyle, mingling with the stars, dating Rod Stewart, in fact.
Yes, I did, yes.
I've always thought he has amazing shoes. Did he have amazing shoes back then?
It wasn't his shoes I was concentrating on.
Oh, Lynn Paul, now starring as the Bird Woman in Mary Poppins. That's enough about Rod Stewart. We're before the watershed, Lynn. Thank you very much indeed.
So if it wasn't Rod's shoes, what was she concentrating on?
As Vicky said, it's before the watershed. Let's move on.
Here's Louise with the weather.
Mum, wet wipes, toilet or bin?
Bin. Why?
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello there. Good evening. It was a rather cloudy day and we did have a few showers push in across the Isle of Man, some heavy frequent showers through the afternoon. Over the next couple of days it will remain largely cloudy, quite a lot of low cloud, especially over the Pennines with some mist and fog at times. Showers never too far away and it will remain fairly cool and chilly as well over the next few days. Low pressure continues to dominate our weather. We do have quite a showery air mass over the next couple of days with some rain tracking in as we head towards the latter part of the weekend through Sunday and into the start of next week. Tonight, 1 or 2 showers continuing for a time. Quite a lot of low clouds and mist and fog forming in places. It should stay largely dry, but showers always possible at times. But it should stay frost-free as temperatures hold up in low single figures, lows of around 3 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow gets off to quite a cloudy, dull, murky start, especially over the tops of the Pennines, low cloud, mist and fog in places. But into the afternoon, the cloud will slowly start to break up. A few glimmers of sunshine appearing here and there. The slight chance of the odd shower in places with light winds and highs of 8 or 9 degrees Celsius. Looking ahead to Sunday, we can expect change coming our way. Some rain in the forecast, most likely to arrive in as we head through the afternoon. 1 or 2 heavier bursts there. Temperatures holding up around 7 or 8 degrees Celsius. Around average for this time of year, but we do have a few cool nights in the forecast too, but it should stay frost-free. There is a chance of some mist and fog patches forming there, though, over the next few days. Into the start of next week, quite a grey, dull and cloudy outlook, but the wind should stay on the light side. That is the very latest. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye for now.
Cleaned up well.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Thanks, Louise. And that's about all we've got time for on tonight's Granada Reports. And thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, Tasha will be here with the latest update after news at 10. Hope you can join us for that. But from all of us here, hope you have a lovely weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.